Noon. How are you today?
Oh,
Uh, Sorry, Zoom was not playing nice. Took me a second to get in.
Yeah, when I logged in, it started recording too. I don't know why.
Oh, I may have set it to automatically record.
Okay.
Hi there. I didn't know
Hello.
if mine was working or not. A slightly different setup. So I was like doing my panic thing, like, oh crap. It's-
There we go.
Suzanne,
all
you look like
right.
you're in the jungle.
I am. I'm on my deck. I said, hey, the humidity's gone down enough. I'm going to sit on my deck. And I think I see Jonathan on a
I'm on a
porch.
porch. Yep.
And
All right. Thank you, everybody, for accommodating. Thank you to the management team, especially Bobby Joe, for getting this organized. Um, so let's see how efficient we can be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. All members of the leadership team. Great. All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 4 o'clock. 4:01. Darn it. 4:01 p.m. Uh, any comments on the agenda? I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
So thank you, Andrew, seconded by Cheryl. Public comment, seeing no members of the public present, I'm going to move on to GLP-1 decision. So who wants to take the lead on this from the leadership team?
I can start if you want, Mark, and then you can
Yeah,
jump
please,
in.
Bobby Joe.
Yeah. So, as you know, last time we talked, we were a little bit at an impasse because we were unsure where Blue Cross was going to land with the MACE diagnosis, and that was for folks who are overweight and have had a major adverse cardiovascular event. So we weren't sure where they were landing on that. We did receive notification from them last week that someone made the decision that they are moving forward with keeping that on. So they're uh, taking off all GLP-1 for weight loss, which would include the medications listed, which I believe are Saxenda, Zepbound, and Wegovy. And Wegovy will be left on only for those who have a MACE diagnosis and are also overweight. So this is not specific to someone who's had a cardiovascular event unless they're also overweight as well. So with that, the management team felt comfortable moving forward. Happy to look at that document I sent out with you. There's a lot of different numbers in there, but just looking at 26 and 27, now this is the calendar year 26 and 27. The projected spend on that is 30 million, just under 30 million at 29 point something million dollars. So we just felt like now is the right time to make that decision, fall in line with both Blue Cross as well as MVP has also filed to remove that benefit as well. So that is where we're at. I don't know if Mark or John want to add anything in.
Bobby Joe, would you like to speak to the fiscal year savings, the second half of FY26 and FY27?
Yeah, so for just fiscal year FY27, which we'll be rating for, we were looking at about $14 million in savings. And then because we're doing it on the back end of FY26 that we're already in, that we've already rated for, we expect another savings of another 5.5 million. So totaling $19.5 million for going into this rating cycle, which I believe just on its face before, everything is all said and done with the renewal, we were looking at a 4-point savings on our rates. So 4 percentage points will have to be added in to our rates if we choose to leave GLP-1s in there. Removing them will reduce the overall need by 4 points, which is, as we all know, huge when our reserves are so low at this point.
and that was the FY27, which was about 4% on rates. But when I look at what they expected for FY26 and what they're now projecting for FY26, we did not rate appropriately in FY26 to cover this drug for the rest of the year. We would have needed like a 3% increase to cover $11 million, and they only put in about 1.5. So it's actually, if we want to continue to cover, it'll probably be even worse than 4% because we've got to make up some ground for this year.
Good point. Thanks, Chris.
And we have talked about that this is a suspension of coverage, that if for some reason prices come down, there's more studies that show that, yes, people can go off of it and there are still benefits. Right now, it's just a great unknown. So and we are probably at the tail end of this compared to other health carriers around the country.
All right.
Um,
Anything else from the leadership team before we open up for questions?
No.
Okay. Questions from board members.
Just have one, and I think it's just, I don't know what does PM mean?
But that's
Per-
per member per month. And when we talk about members, we're talking about every man, woman, and child on the plan. So every person has this amount built into their premium. So when you're talking $47 per member per month, on average for a family, that's $250 per month just for this one benefit alone for a family of 5.
Okay.
So big dollars.
Meaning they are paying into that regardless of whether they have a prescription to it. They're paying
Correct.
into the pool that amount.
Yeah. And it's, like we've talked about, it's similar for any other service, for those who don't have children but are paying for maternity, maternity services, it does go across the board. But this is just one place where we feel like we can actually make a difference and keep our rates lower this year. Cheryl, did you have a follow-up question?
Nope, that was it. Great, thank you.
So I'm just curious, and I don't understand why. Like, why would they approve Wegovy but not like Zepbound for the MACE? I don't know if I'll get asked that question, so I guess
That's an FDA. That's an FDA decision. The FDA has only approved it for Wegovy at this point.
Okay.
Now that the Zepbound could be right in the pipeline, but we don't know that yet. This is, as you know, this is something we've been talking about for over a year, and it's not been an easy decision. We all know people who are on it and benefit from it. We also know people who have tried it and didn't like it, and it's, have had to come off of it. So it was not an easy decision, but we've been asked to try to come up with reasons and ways to save costs. So this is a big ticket item that we can address.
Right. And just as a reminder, this differs from our other benefits in that it is not deemed medically essential.
According to the task force for,
yeah,
correct, for the ACA.
Any board member would, if there's no more questions for the leadership team, would any board member like to make a statement? Or if not, I'll ask for a motion. Okay. So, Bobby Joe, do you have a motion written? If not, that's okay. We can write it.
I'm sorry that I do not.
Okay. That's fine.
Sorry.
I'm going to make this. I'll write it right now. I move to.
I think you can probably pull it from that document that I sent
Yeah.
over. It's
I
probably
was to say the letter that you sent. Well, is it in the Vista's wording?
I think the first 2 sentences in
Yeah.
the document can be adapted for a motion.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And then the only other thing that I had a question about was you had someone. Why didn't it come up? Jonathan said we're suspending as opposed to excluding. Like that verbiage.
I think that verbiage is important for our purposes. in terms of how we communicate this, as far as Blue Cross is concerned, it'll be an excluded benefit, but we see it as, we see this particular measure as a suspension of coverage until some future reassessment. I know John, Bobby, Joe, Chris, does that sort of hit at it?
Yeah,
I
I
just
think
wonder-
we have to be careful though, because it is going to be an exclusion. So I think we have to, I think we have to vote that it's an exclusion and that this could be taken up, at another time. I think I actually had a motion written for last time. Let's see.
All right, let me see. Last time, 2025. GLP-1, page 69. Do not see that. All right, let's look at what I got here.
Had something very simple written out before. I'll throw in there for you if you like.
I think I got something here. I just want to make sure that 728. How's this look? Is that the
Yes.
right language?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that does it.
All right. May I ask for a board member to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Cheryl. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lance. Any additional discussion? Oh, can't see
Yeah.
any.
Mike, I'm just going to notify you that I'm going to recuse myself.
Thank you, Andrew. All right, seeing no other hands. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Andrew? All right, the motion passes. All right, I'm gonna put this in thing. All right, so there it's in the chat. All right, and with that, I think that was our only, discuss next meeting topics.
Yeah, I threw that in there in case we wanted to. I think for September, we know we're going to talk about basically DFR and the filing and where we stand, and we want to get ahead of the October discussion. If there was anything else that folks.
Continue the benefit design discussion as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Cheryl,
Um,
if you can stay on after, and we'll stop the recording, you and I can chat.
And
All right.
I
Yeah, go ahead,
actually-
Bobby.
I just, one question. So Bobby, Joe, I'm just curious how this will get rolled out and how the members will get notification about this?
Yeah.
What the thinking
so
is?
we're, I think Mark has already started, hopefully the communication to be sent out, because we know this is, going to be, it's going to spread around pretty quickly, we think. So we want to get out ahead of it. So we intend to do a communication to our normal group, which would include human resources, benefit managers, the local unions will all be notified about this. And then I don't think VEHI doesn't normally message members directly. So,
Right.
but the anticipation would be no later than October 1st, they would receive notification that the benefit, that the medication was no longer covered, beginning 1/1. Does that match what you think, Mark?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah,
So does everybody get so I'm assuming there's some general notification, but then also people that are currently on it, do they specifically get
Yes,
notified?
yes, that's the October notice. Will go
Okay.
directly from Optum to people who currently are on the medication, letting them know it's being excluded for 26.
Okay.
Is
yeah.
that
'Cause
anything
I mean,
that
just I
sorry.
was just gonna say, as I've shared, I mean, being a using the medication, it's like extremely hard to get even an appointment with your doctor. So I know it's not VHI's responsibility to message people. I just, as soon as that message gets out, like, I'll probably message my doctor today, like when we're done with this call, because it could take 6 months, if not longer, to get an appointment. Um, I know with my doctor. So that's, I mean, if I waited until October, I'd probably be over a barrel.
What are you
So.
thinking that conversation will be with your provider? Because at that point, it's just, you can still get it, it's just not covered, but you could potentially purchase it directly. That's some of the information we're trying to gather too, is
Yeah,
getting,
well, I think Bobby Joe, if I had to do it, like, like I think I shared with you that there's a way she can do it direct through the vendor,
yes,
or the manufacturer.
yeah,
I don't know how long that takes to set up, but if I had to pay for it directly without that opportunity, again, we're talking $1,000 a month, right? Like, that's a lot of money for people to kind of start squirreling away, kind of thing, if they had to do that. So if they had to change, savings plans or something like that,
yeah.
I can only imagine, type of thing. I mean, I don't know with the mace thing, I don't know how that's going to shift people, kind of thing. Like that could be interesting, like, are people going to say, "Oh, I had a heart attack," like,
So,
to try and stay on it.
I think you have a great point, Andrew, that because of this change in coverage, we need to give people an opportunity to have a conversation with a provider to discuss their options, just in general.
Yeah.
So if there is a way, Bobby Joe, to get that messaging, that direct messaging out earlier than October 1st, because that's what, 2 months from now, July, August, September. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure, I would think actually there would be. Because Mark, didn't you say people on the exchange had already received notifications about it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure we can ask for that to go out earlier. And the reason I asked the question to Andy was what he's talking about helps us build our narrative of what we write in our communication. So anything that we can do to guide people, we want to be able to do that.
Great.
Bobby Joe and I will start talking this week too with Allison Plant about the communication narrative and the protocol for how we notify people. As Bobby Joe said, I've already started working on the messaging, and we'll move it through the management team editorial machine real soon and work with Blue Cross to get it out there. Because Cheryl's right, it's got to go out as soon as possible.
Yeah, just have AI write it for you, Mark.
What's that?
Just have AI write it for you.
Yeah, right.
By the way, you're joking, but I bet you can do 90% of it.
Oh yeah, that's on. Like, you could send a message, direct message. You just put the prompt in exactly what you want, like kind of what you're looking for.
Really?
And
Yeah.
it'll give you something to begin to look at.
Wow.
The draft, yeah.
Yeah.
80 to 90% right off the bat.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Anything else before we adjourn?
Thanks
you
everyone
all.
for getting together so quickly. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for accommodating this. Again, thanks to the management team. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Cheryl. Seconded by Suzanne. All in favor, say aye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your week. Bobby Joe, can you make me a host and turn off the recording? I just want to chat with Cheryl about something.
Yeah. Let me
See you
just,
later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.